Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Okay, folks, we got to start with Bitcoin because we had a little bit of a pullback. Bitcoin currently trading at $92,521. Nothing to be concerned about. We are still forming higher highs and higher lows as we continue to work our way out of the correction we've been in since Q4. Now, of course, the narratives are going to be attached to the price, right? Narrative follows price. We got some tariff war fears continuing between the US and the EU, things we've seen before, but I don't believe it's at the critical level where markets are all going to dump. Right now, though, gold and silver are ripping, gold hitting new all-time highs and silver as well. It's pretty wild. But like I said, for Bitcoin, we're just forming higher highs and higher lows. Credible crypto, great analyst shared a chart showing he was actually anticipating this pullback. And he's saying that, we could see a pullback between the zone of 89,000 to 92,000. So we may find a bottom there and then continue. The big question is, the rally that has started, and will continue, is that just simply a dead cat bounce that will roll over into a bear market to new lows? Or is this a move to new all-time highs? And that's the big question everyone has. However, a very great sign that we've seen that has preceded previous bull market rallies are big whales are continuing to accumulate. So large Bitcoin holders buy the most coins since the FTX collapse of 2022. That's pretty significant, folks. All the distribution we saw last year, now we're seeing a high volume of accumulation that is at the FTX collapse level back in 2022, which was the bottom of the bear market. That's pretty significant. I don't think we can rule this out. So let me give you some details. So over the past 30 days, entities holding between 10 to 1,000 Bitcoin, commonly referred to as fish to shark cohort, have accumulated approximately 110,000 Bitcoin according to Glassnode. That's the largest such increase since Bitcoin fell to the $15,000 area just 3 years ago. This renewed accumulation has occurred as Bitcoin remains stuck in tight range, roughly 25% below its October record high, though also about 15% above its November low of around $80,000. So the fish to shark cohort, think high net worth individuals, trading desks, and some institutional sized entities, now control nearly 6.6 million coins, up from about 6.4 million 2 months ago. Now, I've been sharing data from Sentiment, which also validates this, guys, right? I've been highlighting it over the past few weeks. I've been putting the charts in my newsletter. So data from Sentiment showing wallets with 10 or more Bitcoin and even going up to about 10,000 coins have been accumulating. They've been on the rise. And again, this has driven price historically. We've seen crashes throughout this market or this bull market. And as the whales started accumulating, the price went up. One of the things I was highlighting is that they were distributing back in Q4. And then towards the end of December, they paused and then they started accumulating since then. So data from multiple sources are confirming the whales are accumulating. What do you think is going to happen, folks? And, we've been tracking USDT dominance, which was breaking down. And obviously right now it's rising a bit with this mini sell-off, but I believe that the trajectory is down. Yeah, I think it's going to continue to go down, but look, we're going to have to wait and see. I don't know what Trump is going to throw into the mix, more tariffs, more this and that could drive the markets nuts. We've seen this before. We just got to get through it and be patient. Now, speaking of Trump, Animoca's Yatsu says crypto's Trump moment is over. Now, many of you may recall I've interviewed Yatsu a couple times. He's the founder and CEO of Animoca Brands, which is over in Hong Kong. They're a massive fund that is investing in Web3 and crypto. So as 2025 progressed, the crypto market realized that political expectations tied to Donald Trump's presidency were not materializing, leading to a shift in focus towards structural changes. Yatsu, co-founder of Animoca Brands, highlights the growing influence of institutional capital in crypto markets, likening Bitcoin to a reserve asset akin to gold. Su argues that the convergence of crypto and AI is reshaping the financial landscape, with Hong Kong positioned as a key hub for this technological evolution. So he's essentially saying, look, the narrative is going to shift away from Trump, which I think is a very good thing. It should not be tied to a president or a political figure, right? Obviously, it made sense that it was initially tied to it because Donald Trump came in and issued and ordered the change, right, to get rid of Gary Gensler and all these folks and the attack on crypto. So certainly thankful for that, right? Because we wouldn't have the crypto friendly environment, that we have now without Donald Trump. However, I keep it real with you guys. As an independent, I have no dog in the fight, right? So it's easy for me to look at things and call things as they are. I can say what's right and what's wrong. Well, people in either camp, they can't do that. They must say everything is right. It's crazy. But anyway, this is the world we live in. But Trump then launched tariffs that crashed markets, delayed liquidity, and much more. So he launches meme coin, which I believe was a very bad idea. And I think that really stole a lot of credibility from the market and stole liquidity from altcoins as well. But I digress. We're getting crypto legislation through, and we are, of course, in the process of getting market structure going. But I agree with Yat here. The narrative is starting to shift, which is great. We need people to not focus on Trump because if we're looking for adoption, it needs to move away from political figures and so forth, and it needs to focus on the building again, the technology, the adoption, how it makes things better for people, and much more. So I think that change is happening, and hopefully, once the market structure bill is done here in the United States, we can not have to look towards Trump or the administration and any political figure for that matter, but rather let's start building, let's get more capital to come in, and much more. Okay, folks, this episode is brought to you by Trezor. Trezor makes beautiful hardware wallets that make it easy for you to safely self-custody your assets. I'm a user of the Trezor devices. I use the Trezor Safe 5 and the Trezor Safe 7. They have top-of-the-line security. Their new device, the Trezor Safe 7, is quantum ready, has the top-of-the-level security with an updated chip and much more. And folks, they were the ones who started all of this. They created the first hardware wallet and the seed phrase setup. So they have an incredible pedigree. And folks, the devices, the code is open source. So anyone can view the code out there. It's on GitHub and so forth. So that's how much they trust what they've built. And Trezor's devices support all the major coins, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, and so on and so forth, right? And even new tokens. They also have a great software called Trezor Suite, which helps you to easily manage your assets within the app on mobile as well as desktop. You can buy and sell and so forth. They even have a hand-holding service. So if you buy the device, you can also get these hand-holding service to talk to a Trezor rep to help you set it up. And don't worry, they don't ask you for your private keys. So Trezor, once again, great devices. They're just beautiful, easy to use. And once again, I'm a user, so I can vouch for this. So if you'd like to learn more about Trezor, please check out the link in the description, and you can use my code ThinkingCrypto, all one word, ThinkingCrypto, to get 5% off your purchase. Okay, folks, look at this news. Wall Street integration will power crypto's next phase, says Fidelity Digital Assets. So with Wall Street coming in, they're building a lot of the infrastructure now. Don't get me wrong, there are crypto native companies doing that, but Wall Street, they have a lot of experience in different areas. They built a lot of the infrastructure for the TradFi assets like stocks and equities and so on and so forth. And now they're going to help to do that for crypto. So digital assets are nearing a structural inflection point similar to the shipping containers impact on global trade. Institutional adoption is expanding through custody, derivatives, tokenization, and slow-moving capital pools like pensions and endowments, according to Fidelity Digital Assets' Chris Cooper. Wealth advisors could become a major, underestimated source of long-term demand as crypto access broadens, he said. So folks, again, the infrastructure being set up here, the white glove service, the insurance, the assurance, the things we've talked about for years. And I believe once the crypto market structure bill is passed, we're going to see an explosion of innovation and building. I've often talked about mergers and acquisitions. There's going to be a lot of TradFi companies looking to acquire crypto companies and vice versa. So things are really going to take off. The ball is rolling. I think everybody recognizes that this is the future. This asset class is here to stay. The technology is clearly going to power the markets, the governments, and the economies moving forward. So all of these Wall Street banks and institutions are all setting up, and we've seen it: BlackRock, State Street, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, and much more. And most recently, you had the big capitulations from Morgan Stanley and Vanguard. So even the naysayers, the people who were hesitant, they were on sitting on the fence, they are all in now. All right, moving ahead, Ethereum daily transactions surge to all-time high as gas fees fall to record lows. So this is really great news, and I'm hoping that this could help contribute to Ethereum doing a major move following Bitcoin, of course, and depending on if Bitcoin hits new highs or it just does a dead cat bounce. But we know altcoins are going to follow, and we need Ethereum to do well for the altcoin market. I don't make the rules. This is not an emotional take. It's just how we've seen the market run. And there's a lot of coins that are built on Ethereum's blockchain that use the EVM and much more. So the fact that ETH is seeing this type of activity is very good. I think, one of the contributing factors to price appreciation. So the 7-day moving average of transactions on Ethereum is nearing 2.5 million, a record high that's nearly doubled its value from 1 year ago. Average gas fees have dropped to 15 cents per the block's data, the lowest in the network's recent history. Stablecoin transfers now account for 35 to 45% of all Ethereum transactions, according to Standard Chartered. The December 2025 Fusaka upgrade, which introduced Peer DAS and expanded blob capacity, has driven down layer 2 costs, while a doubling of Ethereum's gas limit has helped keep mainnet fees low. Very great news here, folks. Again, this can contribute. It's one of the factors that can contribute to Ethereum really doing well. And we want to see that with the rotation of liquidity from Bitcoin down to ETH and the rest of the altcoin markets, right? You have the rotation into the large cap, mid caps, small caps, and so forth. So we've talked a lot about these things, and these are things that you want to see, and it's very good. It's setting the table for a big move. All right, final news item. Trove Markets announces sudden pivot to Solana hours before token is set to go live. So Trove Markets, 1 week after raising $11.5 million in a public token sale to build a decentralized perpetuals exchange for collectibles on Hyperliquid, announced Sunday it's pivoting to Solana. Pseudonymous team member Unwise blamed the move on a liquidity partner losing faith in the project. Unwise said the team will now be rebuilding the perp DEX on Solana from the ground up, garnering scorn from critics. The token generation event for the Trove token was rescheduled from Sunday at 7 p.m. UTC to 9 p.m., then moved to Monday at 4 p.m. UTC. So this is interesting. And look, Solana is getting a lot of adoption, folks. Most recently, just big things happening. It's pretty incredible. And, it looks like it's going to continue to get more adoption and do well price-wise. Its chart still looks very bullish. There's a lot of ETFs out there now. So I do hold Solana in my portfolio, and I am bullish on it. So it looks like it's going to be one of the big winners coming out of this bull market. Now, it won't be the only winner. We just talked about Ethereum. I believe XRP is going to be a big winner as well. So we got to be patient. We got to go through the volatility, right? Volatility is par for the course. And hopefully we, find some real strength and liquidity soon, and we see some parabolic move. I don't think it's far away, but just be prepared. When you see the volatility, just accept it. Just accept it. Don't fight it. Just accept it. And you could use it to your advantage. If you swing trade, not leverage, swing trade from a spot trading perspective. And it could give you some great dip buying opportunities as well. Not financial advice. Do your own research, of course. So learn to embrace the volatility, folks. Anyway, folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't as yet. Please support the podcast by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. Link will be in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know about crypto. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.